Just went for a run. It was a nice one. The weather is pretty great. It's about 14 degrees Celsius. So it's nice and cool. It's not the warm 20 to 25 when I decided to run in the afternoon. So it was really nice. I think the audio are going through my headphones here, so I'm curious to listen to this audio later to see how it sounds. But speaking of, I do enjoy these headphones. They're called KZ8. Grabbed them from Amazon for, I don't know, like $13, $12, something like that. But yeah, they get great sound. Bad part is I have a Pixel 2 XL. I have to use this guy, and I only have one. Most of the time it stays in my vehicle, but when I run I have to grab the dongle. That sounds weird, but anyways, that's what it's called. It's called the dongle. And yeah, I'll probably get maybe I'll buy a few more from Amazon. Amazon.com. Yeah, I'm kind of walking around because I just say I went for a run. It was a mosquito on my vehicle. It was a good run. I listened to Palms by Thrice, which is a great album. I enjoy it. I'm gonna stop walking. It's a great album, great Rodin album. You know, rock, kind of post-hardcore, pop punk / hardcore, post-hardcore roots. I guess I don't know how to describe them, but they're good. They've been some of my favorites for a long time. But on my run, I made an observation. That's why I wanted to record the video. Lindsay and I spent 3 days last weekend in the Pacific Northwest, and I'm gonna keep talking about this for a while because it's on my mind, and I just think on these things. But Pacific Northwest is a very green and lush and rainy, and there's a lot of water, and water means that there's a lot of life. And on my run, I'm getting a little sad or depressed, or there's some sort of feeling there like I'm not where all this greenery is anymore. These giant trees, the grasses, the ferns, and succulents, like everywhere. Like there are these succulents that I don't know if they're planted or if they just grow, but I was checking them out when I was there. They're cactus without the spikes, which is interesting to me. They don't need the defenses. Plants here in New Mexico die. Case in point, this is a rosemary bush, and it's barely hanging on. You know, it's hanging on, but it's barely hanging on. At my school that I work at, there are some trees, like deciduous trees, that have been planted in this kind of courtyard area, and they're fairly new. And they have a drip system on them so that they get water. Otherwise, if they don't get water, they die, obviously. It's science. Well, I think one of the drip systems either broke, or maybe it wasn't providing enough water, or maybe there was too much sun, or there was something. But this tree, over the winter, you know, here it gets cold enough that the trees die. Or that they don't die. They lose their leaves. They go dormant. This tree lost its leaves, and then spring rolled around. All the other trees on Highlands campus, on my high school's campus, started to get their leaves back, but this one here didn't, and I thought, oh, it's dead. But then maybe a couple weeks later, I noticed there was like one branch where there were like maybe a dozen little leaves that were coming out of this branch. All the other branches were crispy, like you just pop the branches off, and and they were dead. Like those branches were dead. So that tree decided to conserve resources, and it's like we're going to focus on this one little branch. I don't think that happens in the Pacific Northwest. So I just was kind of making the analogy. Sorry, I had to look to see how much time. I had to make the analogy of life. So life here in the desert can happen, but these organisms have to make adjustments. Cactus grow spikes. Plants conserve resources or they die. And it's kind of like survival in the desert for humans. It seems like it could be the same way. Albuquerque's a desert in a lot of other ways. Maybe there's deserts in the Pacific Northwest too, but that's what I was just thinking about my run. So that is all.